Okay, be honest. Who's actually heard of this game? The Ball? I know I hadn't really, but it's actually one of the first PC games I actually bought via Steam. And it's only now that I got around to actually playing it to completion, mostly because I want to review it because it's such an odd game. The Ball is about an unnamed archaeologist, or according to the Steam page, a swashbuckling archaeologist. The hell does that even mean? Swashbuckling usually goes along with pirates, so is he a captain of a ship or something? Oh well. You along with some pals are digging up some dirt in a Mexico volcano when the ground collapses and you fall about 100 feet to find an unknown cavern. Your mates tell you that the crane is down, so you need to sit tight for a bit while they get a new one flown in. This sounds like it's going to take some time, so you decide to explore the caverns. Totally safe, right? No weapons, no lights, just the clothes on your back, and you decide to delve deeper into some caves without knowing if there's a way out. Makes complete sense. But it's a good thing you did, because otherwise, we wouldn't have a game. That's because you soon encounter a strange device that has a skull mounted on the back and a weird rotating gear-like disc on the front. A short time later, you'll find what it's used for. The Ball. This massive sphere is used to solve a ton of puzzles in the game. In fact, all the puzzles of the game. Did I mention that this game is a puzzle game? So here's how it works. You move from room to room, bringing the ball with you. In each area, you are presented with a challenge. Use the device you carry with you to maneuver the ball around to help you solve the room's puzzle. Once this is completed, the way out is usually shown and you move on to the next zone. Simple. The puzzles typically have you pushing buttons in one of normally two types: player buttons and ball buttons. The button that uses the titular orb glows yellow or orange, where the player switches glow blue. There are occasionally times where both types of buttons need to be pressed at the same time, so you'll need to pay attention to that as well. But how do you really move the ball around? As I said, you use the device you found at the beginning of the game. By left-clicking, you thrust the ball ahead by striking it with the hammer part of it. By right-clicking, you summon the ball to you, with almost a vacuum-like effect. You'll need to get used to this quickly, but it doesn't take long, since it's a whole 2 buttons to learn how to use. One of the things you may take some practice is learning how to use its momentum. In many puzzles, you may need to hit the ball a certain way or drag it along the track by using the secondary fire on the device. The good thing is that messing up typically only results in needing to start a small section of the puzzle over. However, there is a health meter, and due to that, there are some hazards of the game. Sure, you can get hurt by fire or electricity, although this is pretty rare. Since you find yourself in a volcano, lava will outright kill you if you fall into it, as will any spikes you come across. There is no fall damage, so feel free to leap off of things to your heart's content. I haven't found any evidence of being able to drown either, which is good because there are a fair share of water puzzles. Don't worry, there's nothing to the level of the Water Temple of Ocarina of Time though, because that would suck. But there is another potential enemy you'll run into. Mummies. That's right, mummies. They look more like heavily decomposed corpses to me, but whatever. There are times you'll run into groups of them. And remember how I said you didn't have a weapon when setting into this place? Well, you kinda do have one now. That big massive sphere that follows you everywhere. All you do is try to hit the ball into the mummies to squash them like bugs. Oh, there are a few bugs here and there too, but not nearly as many as mummies. But anyway, I found that it was difficult to properly line up a hit to smack the mummies, so what I ended up doing was either miss and bring the ball back to me and make them get smashed from behind, or more often, held down the right button and swung the ball like a massive mace. It worked, but I gotta ask, why the hell is combat a necessity in this game? I just feel like it was out of place and not needed in a game like this. Yes, the Steam page says it's as an action-adventure game, but in reality, it's closer to a puzzler, which is perfectly fine. I'm not always a huge puzzle game fan, but this one actually held my interest, probably because it wasn't terribly long, clocking in at about 4 to 5 hours for my playthrough. Anyway, back to the combat. There are some times where you'll have to fight a form of boss or mini-boss, and these don't fare too much better. The first one is a massive gorilla that charges you, and all you have to do is time it so the fiery ball strikes it 3 times. If you die, don't worry, the damage you've done won't reset. Seems like a strange design choice, and just one that makes me further wonder if the combat was thrown in after the game was already created to give it extra material beyond the puzzles. Now, most of the bosses are just variations of utilizing some sort of elemental attack with the ball, but there's another segment where you need to drive a strange vehicle while a mutated albatross drops explosive egg bombs at you. Seriously. It's annoying because 2 hits with these eggs will kill you, and although it won't take too long to complete the segment, it will probably take a few frustrating attempts to clear it properly. The vehicle itself is kind of weird too. It's only featured in about 1 stage, with a small fragment of the next utilizing it too, and it's only navigate between 3 different underground pyramids to solve the challenges within. The rest of the game has you moving between different areas on foot, so I'm not sure why the vehicle was really a necessity in the game. Now, I'm probably sounding like I'm hating on the combat, which, truthfully, I kinda am, but the puzzle base to the game is still solid and fun. The ball helpfully gives you indications when an area is solved, so there's no question on whether to move on or not, and if you do get stuck, you can just press H to bring up a hint on how to solve the current puzzle. And moving the ball is simple enough. I will say that, as playing it though, the ball felt like a pet in a way that it was following me all the time. In fact, you can easily classify the game as a puzzle game that's also one huge escort mission. At least the ball is useful, unlike many of the escort mission victims out there. I'm looking at you, Ashley from Resident Evil 4. There's just one thing I wish I could have been added to the game. A sprint option. The character moves fairly quickly enough, but most of the areas are fairly massive, and I caught myself often bunny hopping around to try speeding things up a bit. Oh well. At least the areas you navigate are nice looking. Everything from the opening caves to the later ruins feel appropriate, and nothing really looks out of place. Well, except for the ending. That was kinda dumb, but I won't ruin it for you. There's also some awesome liquid effects too, when it comes to the lava and water. Speaking of lava, I do have one question. How in the hell does a wooden rail last in a pool of lava fully intact? I don't understand that. Must be some really good sealant or something. Then again, this is the same game where you can get attacked by mummies and can leap from several stories up without taking any damage. The ball is an interesting puzzle game that doesn't overstay its welcome. It won't be for everyone since the action stemming from the combat is kinda lackluster. If you can overlook the fighting, the puzzles will serve well to keep your interest. If you have a rainy day to kill, you could do a lot worse than the ball. Final score? 5 out of 7. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.